What's up? Welcome to Creative Emotions Podcast. Welcome this evening.
Welcome.
You have myself, Vaquita Q. Taylor.
Oh, and the chef cooking things up this evening as usual.
What's up, chef?
As it wasn't warm enough.
Listen, on this show, you're going to get motivation, encouragement, information, transparency, and you're going to get these good vibes.
Good vibes.
Give it to them. They're going to get some. I'm going to have to get a little thing for the good vibes. This is a live show, so you can call in at 313-266-2811. Again, this is a live show, so you guys can call in and kick it with us.
Yes, most definitely.
I just want to give a shout out to those watching on Facebook and on all social media platforms and on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for watching. You know, we have had a lot of different things going on in our society right now. So we're going to touch on a few things, you know, but one thing I wanted to speak about, you know, just being in a sad day where the Supreme Court has to intercept with the woman making a choice with her circumstances and the different situations, you know, that she may find herself in. Sorry about that. It always happened. I thought I was on top of it. But I encourage everyone, when it comes to, you know, this abortion, I know people are out there and they protesting and they're angry about it, but having dealt with this, abortion is the worst, invasive, emotionally, I'm telling you, like, it mentally does things. So I know people are looking at it like, oh, it's a right, it's a choice, you know, but think about that woman as well. This is just my approach. This is my perspective about the whole situation. Having went through it, this is a serious matter. And I know a lot of people looking like something to rally behind again, but think about the woman when it comes to her mental health, her emotional health. I don't think people are looking on the outside of, you know, what this is. I understand how sensitive this subject is and to even discuss, you know, again, but having experienced it, it's really a hard thing to go through. But we have the ability to produce life. And that is the most amazing thing I can say as a woman. Being able to produce life, and we have to be responsible with our bodies. I don't, you know, I know, like I said, this is a very sensitive subject. I get it. I was it. And coming on the other side of it, you know, looking at the totality of the situation, it affects people differently, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, like, it is serious. And so I want people to really look at, you know, this whole situation. You know, different things is happening around us with the Supreme Courts and things happening with police and things happening out of our control. But the things that we can control, ladies, one thing we can control is our bodies, who we lay with, who we entertain, and understanding the vastness. The most important thing that we can do is produce life. So that's not nothing that we should be taking lightly. And, you know, that was just my take on that, because I'm like, you know, is it about the fight right now, or is it about the principle? Because I know people ready for a fight. I mean, they ready. Yeah. They out there. What?
Always
you said
ready.
they ain't give you your money on your pump? Yeah. Like, they ready. And it don't matter how small or big it is. So it's like, you know, do we really understand, you know, the seriousness of this thing? It's life at the end of the day. You know, you guys can go over, I have a poem, you know, that's speaking from the baby's, you know, the baby's voice. It's called The Voice of the Unborn. You can look that up on YouTube just to get a different perspective about this thing. It's just so deep on so many levels. And I understand everybody got they different saying. And some men might want to be quiet because of the situation, because they don't want to feel insensitive. But this is a us thing. It's not just a woman thing, because we carry the egg, they fertilize the egg. So that's a us thing. It's not just women. It's not just our choice when it comes to, you know, what we're creating together, if that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense. And, you know, we talked about that. So right from the beginning, when you start to make this decision to do adult things, you know, adult things are going to come out of it, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Right. So, you know, as man, we still have to look at this also. So you have to be prepared to say, well, now, let me look at this thing differently, because this very well may be a person.
Oh, we got a caller.
You got a caller?
Okay, you can go ahead and that was quick.
That was quick.
Oh, it's not answering.
It's picking up.
I'm like, oh, okay. Real quick in the game. They on there? Hey, we have a caller. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Q. Hey, Fred. This is Crystal.
Hi,
Hey, what's going on?
It's nice to know both of you. And I just tuned in, and the way you started, I was like, yes, I'm gonna call right now
Yeah.
Yes.
because that is something that we need to address. To For a woman to have gone through that
Yeah.
and that emotional and mental effect that it has on a woman, and I feel like it's more of a responsibility of our community
Yeah.
and our schools. Like they took a lot of those things out of the schools. We don't have sex education anymore. Like the
Mm.
only education that my children get is from mom.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
there's
Absolutely.
nothing out here, and then that lack of support. Like is there's nothing like what if what, like what do I do to prevent this from even being an issue? What do I
Yes.
do in
Yes.
the middle of this while I'm going through this? Is abortion the best decision for me?
Yes.
And they don't know because they don't know what the possible support that they can get from the state, from the community, from the
Hmm.
church. Like it's a lot of alternatives, and we're only just looking at this one aspect.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more that can be done.
I
So if
agree.
I agree 100%.
Wow.
people want to get on one side or the other, just make sure that the woman has the support if you're going to lean one way or the other.
That's real good. That's
I
real good.
agree.
Give her some. Give her some. Okay. Can you hear these claps and these toe taps, honey? Yes. It's
Yes,
so
I hear 'em.
serious. You know, this is something that's really, really touchy, and you know, you called while Chef was giving his point, but this conversation get real. No, it's good
No,
because
no,
we're gonna
I'm
get
glad
back
you
to
called
it.
in.
Yes, we're so glad you called in, but just being able to look at it from different angles versus that's the only way out. I know some people that use that as a form of birth control. And just to solidify this is not actually the show title. The show title
it isn't.
is totally different, but I wanted to start with just to acknowledge, you know, what's happening right now in our generation and how it's bringing so much division.
Yeah, it is. I've been at several places. I was telling Q, I was coming out the grocery store, and it turned into a man and woman thing. And it happened to be a young lady and a man standing out front, young man, and they were having people sign for a petition for this, right? So both of them had the same paperwork. However, the lady that came out of the grocery store, she told the man, she was like, well, I don't want to talk to you. I'm not signing yours, but I'm going to sign hers. And I'm thinking in my mind, it's the same information. But
Wow.
so quickly it turned into a man against a woman issue. And we don't need that spirit of division anymore.
Definitely not.
I have been looking at also some memes, and I'm not going to talk about them on Facebook. I was sending it to Q. Q was like, oh, she laughed for at least about 4 minutes. Like, I cannot believe this, right? So we have to look at this thing and do it. We got to be mindful, you know, gentlemen, for the ladies, because Q kind of explained to me that feeling. And if you're a man, if you've ever been on the other end of supporting this by maybe just giving half the money
Yeah.
and not going with the young lady, and the way that Q explained it to me, I said, wow, that's major right there.
It's major, and it's lonely. It's a lonely space. It's helplessness. It's like, you know, when you don't have that mindset where you just out here, you reckless, you getting pregnant every time you turn around, and that's what you do. Again, because everybody can think different. But when you really just a good person, you done made a mistake. You got married people want to make these decisions based off of finances, not knowing they can get help. You have younger teenage adults because they wasn't told about how quick, you know what I'm saying, this can happen to them, and they're making these decisions, and then emotionally they are messed up. You have women that are dying, spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars just to be able to do what people take so light, and that's taking life away.
You know, I agree. So, you know, as you talked about that, Q, I said, so when someone's in this situation, in this position, where a young lady will call you and say, we need to talk, you know, guys start sweating right out. So once that conversation starts, and I know everybody probably pretty much experienced this, and a young lady tell you that she's pregnant, the first thing out of her mouth is, I'm not ready for this. But we were ready for the activity. You know, but right quick, you know, I'm not ready for this. You know, I can't afford no kid right now. But you were affording the dates. You know what I'm saying? Are we serious here?
Yeah.
So just to go backwards with this thing, right? So if you're not ready for the child, stop being so ready for the activity. Seriously, people.
Or just be more responsible.
Be more
and
responsible.
That's what I encourage people to do. Is everybody mindset is different, everybody's perspective is different, but
Absolutely.
we know what comes from this. And I would like to see more children born with high expectancy, because I believe that we speak life to these babies even when they're in our bellies. And so if you have that mindset of, I ain't even want you and I ain't even want this, and every time you turn around, you're speaking negatively about, what you're going through and how you're going through it, I believe that affects the children that we bear. And so I just want everybody, if you're in that situation, you are not alone. They have help. They have different resources. I know everybody feel like, who gonna do it and who gonna take care of it. They have resources. Some of the most successful people, unfortunately, went through things like this. Some of the people, who mothers chose life are very successful and have done great things in our community and in our world. And so you don't know who your child is going to be. And so that's something to think about, too. It's just not about us.
And you're right. And just to add to that, not being ready for it is not an excuse. I've had some of my biggest blessings just with my children in my life. And resources just always came to me to provide whatever need. My daughter in college, she's just there. It's just there. It's just there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I said, I didn't have these resources and when I was just single.
Right? Yeah.
Without children. So if you're concerned about that and you get that phone call, don't let the first thing come out of your mouth, I'm not ready for this. And financially, I'm not ready, because God will bless you.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, because I got a couple people watching here. I see Tamika, hey, sis. And she does such amazing things for her children. And I once worked side by side with Tamika and stuff. We're still in the same, building.
Yeah.
However, God just blessed this woman. And if you guys follow her, I'm telling you, when she celebrates her children, you can't tell me God won't bless you when you commit yourself to be a parent.
Absolutely.
Man.
Absolutely. To bring life into this world.
Yes,
So
yes.
thank you so much, Crystal, for watching. I appreciate your comment. That was spot
thank you.
on. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm going to disconnect so I can continue watching.
Okay, continue watching. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
So, that was, again, just an acknowledgement about what was happening. And this is a live show. You guys can call in 313-266-2811. But what we're going to get into is self-righteousness closing doors?
Wow.
Is self-righteousness closing doors? And because we have the relationship series, everything that we're talking about goes right back to you.
That's right.
It goes right back to you. Is self-righteousness closing doors? Self-righteousness can have you either consciously or unconsciously looking down on others. This is a problem that I noticed with, the high value situation that's going on. Because you're making a little bit more, but your character is shot. You know what I'm saying? Your heart is messed up. You think you perverted, just all kind of stuff. So that's what I mean by self-righteousness. You look at people a certain way about this, but then you have this layers, people. Yeah.
Yeah. When Q and I, we talked about this last night. We usually do, and I was able to quickly identify with this. With people I've dealt with in my life, or just people I may have worked with. And you're right, they close so many doors. Just that self-righteousness, right?
Yeah.
And you may not have much, but the way you're going to enter a room like you do, and maybe, and we talked about that, and it just may be someone in that room that has the resources for you, that's ready to bless you, right? But you're walking in and you can't rub two nickels together and two sticks, make fire. I would say what they usually would say, but I'm not. My mom used to say this. However, it is closing doors. It's closing doors on relationships. It's closed not only with man and woman, it's closing doors with relationship with fathers with their children, and then vice versa. So we have to look at this thing and value yourself, but don't sit yourself up on a pedestal. Yeah. No. Let's stop doing that, right? Because you're closing doors, not only for that, it can be a business opportunity, right? But the way you're entering the room, the way that you're moving is closing doors. We're going to get deeper into this. And please call us if you have some examples of this. Please call in and share them. Q, what would be, and I got to ask you this, maybe not even with yourself, what would be probably one of the biggest examples that you can remember?
There I go.
There you go. Examples of either dealing with or if you were ever there yourself that may have closed
yes.
the door. Or you closed the door on somebody.
I believe while dating, I believe at some point I did have a sense of self-righteousness that I was exuding. A few examples I can give. One, when somebody asked me to go out, Q, I'm having a party at downtown. We turning up. And instead of me saying no, I'm like, oh, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't hang out in the clubs, I don't like, I'm talking about all this stuff I don't like. And it's like, why? Why are you telling people all of this stuff that you don't do? Like, what's the point? Because, when the Holy Spirit checked me about it, it was like immediate, like, why you say all that? I was like, that's true. Like, so what, you want this other person to feel some type of way because they do? So it's a level of compassion that you have to have. And for me, it was like, that is self-righteousness to me. Like, looking down at, like, oh no, I don't do this and I don't do that. And, not in that way. Like, everything I do, I feel like I've been genuine with it. But when you are on the outside looking in, I think I had talked to this one girl before and I was so passionate about it. When you look at people's body cues, you also can tell.
When they like, off you.
Like, oh, okay. Because you are passionate and you like thinking you just, going in, and they like, when people get to crossing their arms and, you got to pay attention to all of that. So I think that's one of them. Like I said, with the dating, me personally, if a man look at you a certain way, they try to like be this the way they think you want to be instead of being themselves, because they're coming up with their representative. And he like, yes, I go to church, I do this, yes, I love the Lord. And, remember we talked about this last time. That representative, but it was like, am I exuding self-righteousness so people have to come up and not be themselves?
Wow. So do you think that's why, where do you think the percentage is that people are sending out their representatives, or do they have an alternative motive for sending out the representatives?
I mean, yeah, that could be both. Yeah, I guess it depends on the person.
Subject tonight, so I get you. I remember when I was dating. I've been married, so but I do remember when I dated, and I dated myself. And
what, you were self-righteous?
No. I dealt with someone, and she was talking about God, this, that, and the other.
Oh,
and
okay.
At the time, I wasn't in church, I was much younger. Next thing I'm like, oh, yeah, praise the Lord, because I agree, I understand, you know what I'm saying? Because in my mind as a young man, I'm trying to make this a successful date, right? But she was putting that off. But then after the conversation went on a little bit further, a part of it, I start feeling a little offended, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause I'm like, right. And
like she was better than you?
Yeah. And then she's like, I don't deal with guys like, that's into the worldly music. And I'm like, so I'll just pick you up. And I know what I had going on in the car. And I'm like, so she was saying things. I felt like she was talking, describing me.
Oh.
That part right there.
Okay.
So we have to be very careful. But little did she know, if she would have dated me, she probably would have had the world. So she closed the door, because everybody know how I am and stuff. And she closed the door on that. So I'm just saying, we have to stop doing that, or it could come across in a business opportunity, right? So we have to be very, very mindful of this thing. And that was my experience with it. Okay, that was my experience with it. Now, have I ever did that to someone? I'm sure I have.
I'm sure we all have. It's just being mindful of it. And so that's the question today.
Where did it come from? I think sometimes it all depends on if you just got out of a tragic sort of relationship. Now, what's your energy like? I had to watch that myself, right? Because I'd never want to come off like I've learned something, but I want to come off like I'm better than. So
you said you don't want to?
I never want to come off like I'm better than someone. But if I had a previous situation, now I'm just, I'm watching myself. I'm going to watch the things, the way I move, my energy that I'm putting off, because I never want to put that out there. And if anybody know what I'm talking about, if you ever came out of anything, it'd be a bad job, relationship, whatever the case may be. You told yourself, man, I'm not going to deal with this anymore, anymore. And then it comes out in your conversation. And
it does.
Yeah. And then you have to catch yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So it's different levels of this thing.
It is.
So the reason why we're talking about it, because we want for you to get to know yourself better and the better relationships around you.
Yes.
Right? So you want to be open. Go ahead, Q.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah, because that's what this relationship series is about. It's better relationships. Just not if you're dating someone. It can be your auntie, your uncle, your father. You can be a son.
Yeah.
So we need to take this information and apply it where you must. Because I'm sure we're going to go through several scenarios, and you just may find yourself in it, and that's okay. Because I talk about every time we
the ouch moments.
At the ouch moments.
Like, oh yeah, that's me.
I
have them all the time. Shoot,
Yes.
that's why we talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
It's self-righteousness closing doors.
Absolutely.
And is it closing doors for relationships, for business relationships, business deals, companions, friendships, because you all like this and, you want to judge everybody else but got stuff going on too?
Yes.
That's a problem. So is this attitude and behavior stopping you from building real relationships because people have to lead with their representative or who they think you might want to accept? Self-righteousness is having or characterized by a certainty, especially an unfounded one, that one is totally correct or morally superior.
Yes.
So similar words to self-righteousness is hypocritical, holier than thou. Oh my God, I done heard that a lot.
Oh, man.
I heard that people, you say that because I was in church and people get mad sometimes when you don't do stuff. It's like, don't judge people if they do. Don't judge them if they don't. You got some people that don't drink, don't smoke, don't do none of that. But it's like, well, who you think you are? Like, why you got to think you are somebody because you're not indulgent. It just might not be your thing. Or, your belief is keeping you, in order, in check. There's nothing wrong with that. The only time I feel like it's wrong is when I'm looking at you less of a person because you have not gotten there yet on your journey.
Absolutely.
Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's journey is not going to be the same. If you are a little further on in your belief and you're taking what you are chewing up, reading, going to church, doing all of this stuff, if you're taking it in, it's affecting your life, and now you see the fruit from it, give them a round of applause for that. Because that's what that is.
Absolutely.
But don't then look at you like, you're supposed to be doing this and doing that and doing this and doing that. I have made the mistake of doing that. All we got to do is be an example.
Be an example.
I've made more progress just doing me and people watching than me trying to tell you how to do you, because we both going the same way. We both going the same way. I can encourage you.
Absolutely.
And I can love you.
Absolutely.
And I can do me. And that's where I am on my journey. That's just me.
And that brings back to, I gotta give you some on that, Q.
Oh, goody. That's
Goody,
another
goody.
one. Sanctimonious. That's making a show of being morally superior to other people. These are just a few. The opposite is humbleness.
Humble, that most definitely. So what I find with most people that I come across that have this going on, they're just hiding, right? They're hiding, and they got a boatload of stuff going on, right?
Wow.
So I think that's just a protected layer, so no one notices what they have going on.
Yeah.
Right? So they tend to want to look down or point out someone else's. So theirs is not discovered, maybe through a conversation and way that they move. But once again, we have to stop that. And then we talked about how we're all living in this age where, everybody wants to win. We're so fixed on winning that we're losing, right?
Yeah, in a lot of areas.
And
concerning each other.
Concerning each other, right? And that righteousness thing, right? You're just so fixed on winning, right? And it's okay if you're having a bad day, whatever's going on in your life. You don't call that person up, right? Don't walk in a room and make another person feel bad about the very thing that you're going through at this moment, right? Or you had been through that you just did not share.
Yes, because a lot of people would not share. I had a friend then, not a friend now, but was going.
You said a friend
through,
then?
Yes.
You close the door?
I closed the door. I made that choice. No longer will I give these good vibes and not get none back, okay? But this was a long time ago.
Okay.
But this person was going through.
Okay.
When I say going through, like wow, I want to cry once I heard it. Right. But I was going through, and I was being transparent, like, shoot, this is happening, that, this and that.
Yes,
and they over there like this. Like we truly can help each other probably. Or in some way, shape, or form, but you like, that's messed up. And then you over here talking about it. When you going through that's the problem.
Or have been through it.
That's a problem. That is the self-righteousness that you it just don't help. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help anybody in your life. It's not helping you be the best version of yourself. It's actually, I feel like the different things that we go through produce who we are as far as the next version, the best version. So I'm not going to not talk about the things that got me to this point, into this place. Like some things was messed up. I don't even, the Lord don't even allow me to go back that far no more.
I know.
But when I think about some of the stuff, I be like, dang, I was going through. But, until you realize like, wait a minute. You got to watch how people act around you or when you say certain things. And if you feel yourself, how when you feeling superior or you looking at somebody a certain way, check yourself.
Well, hold on, Q. So do you think these people know they're moving in that energy?
You absolutely know when you're moving in that energy.
So, do you think that at this point being transparent and accountability can, if you are going through this or and you're not acknowledging it, we're just going to tell you to be accountability, right? And to be a little bit more transparent because you may be talking to someone, you may save their life. You may help them out, right?
And they may go through what you go through.
Right. So right now, if you got a credit score of 820, but yours was at a 450 at one point, don't look down at my man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, sure.
I can't believe that you're not responsible. You're
right.
not paying your bills on time. You had somebody calling you 2 years ago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so
exactly.
That part right there, if a lot of people are wondering what this thing looked like, this is what it looks like, right? I've had things go on in my life, and I speak to them because I say when I speak to them, people know I'm pretty transparent.
Yeah.
I know it's going to help someone else, right? And I've learned a lot, and I talked about that, right? And maybe someone needed to hear it, but don't share any good bad energy with someone, or don't deal with people with a raggedy mouth, or you know what I'm saying. So when you're open, right, and you've been through something. Don't pull that person up with some good, wise advice.
Yes, that's good.
Okay?
That's good. That's real good.
You like that one, Q?
That's real good. Yes, pull him up. Pull him up.
Come on now.
Don't push him down. Stop stumping on his head.
Oh, yeah. We know you got the credit.
Self-righteousness has a person convinced of their own righteousness, especially when it's in contrast with the actions and or beliefs of others. And so we have a lot of divisions with religion. Like, yes. I hate religion. I hate that they even started it. Like, where did it even come from? To the point where it causes so much division.
Well, you said something on one of your shows back here, and I remember it. And I think you said, well, I don't care what you believe in something.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Because it brings a conscious mind to you, right?
Yeah.
You move differently.
Morally.
You
that's
have
what you were saying. Some type of foundation.
Right, absolutely.
Like, believe in something, but don't look down at somebody else. Like, you have people literally fighting. People are going to war based off of a belief that they were taught, and they running with it, and they looking at you like you're less than because you don't believe this one way. How could the world even go around if we just had one way of doing everything? We wouldn't evolve.
Not at all.
We wouldn't evolve. We wouldn't change.
But just to go back to the religion, and I agree, because I was that person. It took me so long to get to church because I kept telling myself, I got to get myself together first before I go, because everybody, that's what they were putting off, like they were so together. But little
Oh,
did I
yeah.
know once I got in church, man, I seen these people clowning last weekend, right? They still trying to get it together. And I said, man, I couldn't believe that I waited so long and
Yeah.
so many years
Yeah.
because I felt like I had to get myself together because of maybe someone I was exposed to
Right.
who had that self-righteousness about
Because,
religion.
yeah.
Come on, people, stop it.
because
You
of what
know?
it looked like.
Yes, what
Yeah,
it
that's a
looks
real
like.
thing. So Isaiah 64:6. This is the King James version. But we are all as unclean thing, and all our righteousness are as filthy rags, and we all do fade as a leaf, and our iniquities, like the wind, have taken us away. And so this is what I get from this is don't think too highly of yourself when it comes to this righteous thing, because you may be, moving up in one area, but you're failing in several others. So be patient and kind with yourself. Stop judging yourself when it comes to what you're doing, where you came from to where you're going. Give yourself the credit. I'm not saying don't judge yourself, because that's my next point is definitely judge yourself and you won't be judged. And that means accountability, taking that accountability for what you're doing, what you're not doing, what you should be doing. Fathers should be taking care of their children. Mothers should be taking care of their children. Husbands and wives should be taking care of each other. These are things that you should be doing. So it's like, be careful that you're not that harsh on yourself where, it's a false sense of righteousness. Like you good over here, but you failing in so many other important areas. That's a problem.
So when you say judge yourself, I like that part because it just wakes you up to accountability. That's the way I look at it, right? And so when you judge yourself, that just means that you're acknowledging that you probably need some growth in this area, some prayer in this area. So it's just a wake-up call, not to the point where you're so harsh like you said and you just can't get out of the funk now.
Yeah.
Because, you just count all the bad about it and not the good about anything that you've been through. So that's just a wake-up call to accountability to me when you look at yourself and the things of how you're moving and may be incorrect. I had to do that with myself, but I'm better for it right now.
Yeah,
and
for
stuff.
sure.
And if I was great then, so now I just say, wow, now I'm amazing. People ask me, You asked me earlier, how you doing? I said, I'm amazing, right?
Yeah.
Because that's truly how I feel.
Trying to take my words.
Well, amazing.
Awesome and amazing is my words.
Well,
you can use
I
them
just said
sometimes.
amazing and not awesome. Because not too many guys can be like, I'm awesome. Right, fellas? No, I said amazing. That sounds real manly.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, so I can say it and do one of these.
Okay.
I'm amazing. But however, that's
You're
how
silly.
that's how I look at it, because I say, man, and I told someone before, I think like today, and they said, how you doing? I said, I'm good. But if I wasn't, I'm on my way to good.
That's
right?
good, yeah.
And that's because accountability in everything I do.
That's good.
I'm not going to run from it. I'm not running from it. Why?
Don't run from it.
I ain't running from it.
Don't run from that accountability.
I ain't running from
We
it.
need it.
Yes, that happened. Yep. It
Yeah.
sure did.
Yeah.
Yep, but I've learned from it.
Yeah.
Right? And
Everything we should be learning from.
Absolutely. So,
Everything
what
we
you got
should
on
be
that
learning
laptop
from.
over there and stuff?
Not much, because we know we going with the flow. But I do have a few characteristics of self-righteousness that can stop us from building real, true relationships.
Absolutely.
One is they do not work well with others. These are characteristics of someone that has these traits of self-righteousness.
I agree 100%. I remember
They do not work well with others.
I know. I had somebody I invited out of my life. I closed the door on too.
Mm-hmm.
And they could never stay at a job. And it was like someone always had a problem with them, the way I dressed, the way I moved. I'm like,
Yeah.
really? Really? So,
Yeah.
every time I'm around women, they always got a problem with me. I'm like, really? No,
Well-
maybe you just got some bold energy and they see it, right? So, we have to stop that part. So when I look at this thing, I see so many examples. And I tell my daughter all the time, and I tell my son, I said, you can learn something from everybody, how to be or how not to be.
Definitely.
Right? And then when you flip that on yourself, now you learn how not to be because maybe some ugly actions you had.
Yeah.
So I tell people all the time, it's good to look in the mirror and say, I love you. You know what I'm saying? That's good.
Please do it.
But it's also good to look in the mirror, the view mirror, whatever you're at that point in your life and say, man, you know, that was pretty messed up what I did last week. You know, wow, man, I made this person feel like this.
That's good.
Accountability.
Yeah.
And if you are able to go to that person and say, you know what, had a lot of things on my mind that particular day. And, you know, I said a couple of things. It may have offended you. I was acting a certain way. And they may deny it, but still, deep down inside, I think they will say, well, I'm glad this person did acknowledge this because they did make me feel a certain way.
Yeah.
Self-righteousness, we have to stop that. And you may say it to a young adult, and then, you know, you may place an insecurity on their heart for several years because of that.
Yeah.
You have aunties and uncles that do it all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
So we have to be very careful with this thing.
The second one is they are not patient with those who mess up, struggle with sin, or have lost their way. I'm telling you, you can. I mean, that's a real thing.
That's a real thing.
We're talking about characteristics of people that are self-righteous, and I was definitely like this.
Wow.
Yep.
No patience.
I feel like, how old are you? You ain't been and got this together? You still doing what? It's not my place. If I can't deal with it, I'm not going to deal with it. But I shouldn't have to, you know, look down on another person because they not at that place in their journey.
Absolutely.
So, yes.
I think I was talking to one of my friends, and they were saying that, and this before you came to me with the show topic, and they were saying that very thing. I can't deal with a person. They still living with their parents, this, that, and the other, and got this. And I'm like, whoa. Like, did you ever have time when you had to move back home because something happened?
Yeah.
And, you know, so we got to be able to have a little bit more compassion in our heart. And I know society say, hey, you know, this particular person, if you're at this age and you don't have this, that, and the other, well, sometimes you never know. You may be a lawsuit away from losing everything that you have, right?
Yeah, be humble.
You got to be humble because life will humble you.
Definitely. Yeah, what the old people say, keep living.
Keep living long enough.
I just learned that if it's not for me, it's not for me. I don't have to, you know, evaluate your life and see where you should be and how. I'm not doing none of that. I'm not. If you on your way, I can deal with that. You making some type of strides, you know where you at. You've done your healing work. That's very important to me.
Yes.
You've done that. You know, yes. I don't have no reason to, you know, judge you harshly but I'm not going to, you know, put my energy into speaking or voicing where I think you should be.
Absolutely.
I think we do that too much, and it's just we shouldn't.
Okay, you're absolutely
we
right.
shouldn't. But they do not respond well when reminded they need to change. We're talking about characteristics of self-righteousness. They are resistant to change. Yes. So a lot of people, and this is religious people a lot of times, you know, because you get branded in your head over and over and over and over, bang, bang, bang. So people be like this, and it's nothing else. They see one way. I get it. Step out of there and get your life back.
Absolutely.
Think for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just leave that there. They consistently point out the sins of others with an air of superiority.
Yes.
Yes,
right there.
Yes.
We talked about that last night. You in the club, but you're going to slide over and be like, you think you should have that other drink or you should be drinking? I'm in the club. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Or you're a woman, you slide over and you be like, you think you should be wearing that? Yeah, I did this on purpose. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So you here for what?
Yeah.
You need to step yourself out this environment, right? Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Step yourself out this environment,
right? Because this is what this environment is about.
This is what this is.
Right, yeah, that part right there.
Like, you think you need to, don't do that.
No, I want to do that.
Yeah, that ain't right. We got to, you know, be responsible for yourself first.
Yes.
Definitely. The last one is they do not deal well with opposition or accusations.
Wow.
You know, so when people tell you, you know, why you acting like that? Or you act like you better than. But sometimes that junk it can get real irritating, for real. When people talk about who you think you are, I am who I say I am.
Absolutely.
And then when I talk like that, then, you know, people think that you cocky. No, I'm just confident, and I'm tired of bringing myself down just to make everybody feel comfortable, you know, and not feeling that way. Like, I learned from mama. I'm not trying to live for nobody else. I don't have nothing to say about the way you live. If you come and ask me, you ask my opinion, then I might give it to you. I might not. But I'm not, it's just, that's one thing that I'm just not dealing with no more as far as giving my 2 cents about somebody else's life and their journey. I'm just here to encourage you, to empower you, let you know how powerful you are, so you will know that you can live your life the way you want to live it and still love God, still be spiritual, still be in touch, still be moral, still be a great parent, still be a great friend, sister, brother, cousin, whatever it is, and be able to consciously live your journey on purpose. That's all I'm interested in.
That's it. And to add to that, I've walked past people, and I may have been at work. They was doing some things they shouldn't do. And I said, hey, have a good day. And as I walked on, instead of me standing there speaking on whatever it was, I'd be like, God bless them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's
and that's the
powerful,
proper
though.
way to do and stuff. You know, just walk, have a good day. And as you step away, God bless them. God bless them, you know.
You know, you
That right
really
there.
can send good words to people. People don't even know when they talking about people and gossiping behind their back. You really sending curses.
That
You're
right
really
there.
giving it energy, more energy than it needs to. That's why I'm telling you, the more you grow on this journey, it's such a beautiful place because you're not in competition with anyone, right?
Not at
Not
all.
one person. So
Right.
when you know that, when you learn that, when you embody that, nothing else matters as far as what other people are doing because you're comfortable where you are and where you're going.
Absolutely.
And I just don't see the need to talk about somebody else's life to the point where you're taking a valuable time in yours
And yours.
and talking about somebody without a solution. And when you do that, you actually speak in curses. In the
speak in
Bible, it talks
curses.
about a lot of times when people came to Jesus, you know, for healing or whatever, they said, you know what? He said, your faith made you whole. Go home. You know, your child is healed.
Mm-hmm.
They go home and they child is healed. And what did he send? He sent the word.
Sent a word.
So if you can send a good word to heal somebody, what is sending negativity and talking about it and
I had a phone call from my nephew, and we talked about that. And so rather than listening to it, talking about somebody, call and check on them. Say, are you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you all right?
That's
You
good.
know what I'm saying?
That's a real good.
Don't listen to the gossip. Don't add to it. Don't talk about a person. Just call them and say, are you okay? Are you all right?
Yeah.
You know, let's try that, people.
Yeah, because that brings self-righteousness. They over there, I would never do this. You know, I always say I would never do, and I've done. You know how much stuff. I'd never do that. I'd never do this. I'd never.
Never say what you would never do.
Man, what? Because
that
it's
would
going to
be
come up on you.
They sure will.
It's going to be your test.
That part right there. I can add a story to that one.
Like,
but I'm
oh,
gonna
you
leave it
ain't going to
alone.
never?
You ain't gonna that part right
You
there.
ain't going to never?
Never.
I don't like it. I don't say it. I shut my mouth now. I don't want to know. Mm-mm.
Maybe say I pray to God that I never put in that
I ain't
position.
saying it. I ain't saying nothing.
You know what I'm saying? Because it will come.
I don't need nothing
People.
else
Keep
from
your mouth
nothing.
shut. God bless them. Keep walking.
God bless.
God
You
bless
want to talk about that story? What you asked in that question?
Which one?
What you just said?
No, I'm gonna talk about that.
All right.
I'm gonna leave that one alone. That's another.
But
show.
do you see yourself in these characteristics? We are talking about self-righteousness. And is it closing doors in your life? Closing doors relationship-wise, business-wise. You know, are you in a ministry? Do you have a ministry? Are you operating in this self-righteousness where people do not see Jesus in you or around you?
Absolutely.
I don't care what your title is. These are, you know, important things. People need to see that you are relatable. People need to see, you know, that you're a real person. And when you let people know, you don't always have to talk about your struggles in order for people to see where you at now. But you don't have to look down on people when they are in similar situations that you've seen yourself in. That's the self-righteousness we're talking about in that aspect. But as far as in a relationship, you looking down at a man, a hardworking man, and because, you know, he don't have the same money as you or he don't stay in the same place as you, but the qualities he probably have is what you want. So it's self-righteousness to look down and be like, oh, yeah, no. But the main thing you want, this person may have, but because of other things that, you know, society is pushing on us to want and to have, we're looking like, And then we're looking at it like settling. I'd rather somebody treat me right, okay? Because that's very important.
And yeah, that word settling. Let me tell you, people, everyone settles. You know why? Because you settle for what your heart wants sooner or later. So you're gonna settle.
Yeah.
But it's been something negative
that's
attached to that word.
Yeah.
Like you deserve better than that. So you're settling. Right? You're gonna settle for what your heart wants. So I just had to tag on to that.
Yeah.
I know it has nothing to do with the show title.
No, that's good. Listen.
But yeah.
But instead of feeling like I've arrived, which I don't think we will ever do, I do believe we can overcome some things and grow, but I don't believe there will ever be a moment set aside from our goals that we can say, I've arrived. I've made it. Let me teach everyone how to make it here. Let me teach everyone how to make it here.
Yeah, really.
I don't have to do anything else. I have the answers.
I'm still on my journey.
Man, what?
You can
I'm
ride, you
enjoying
can roll
it.
with me because I'm having fun.
I'm enjoying it too.
Yes.
But we are not in competition with anyone. So feeling superior to the next only feeds this self-righteousness. We should see a need for the dependence on Source, the Holy Spirit, to lead and guide correct, not waddle fingers at each other.
Yeah, that thing right there.
This waddling, honey.
That right there.
What that do to you? Don't be doing that now.
Yeah.
Now I'll tell you,
I'm
when
about to
people
get
come
the
into my
lean back.
space, I don't like harsh
The lean.
conversation.
No,
right?
not.
I don't cuss at me. Don't be talking about, I don't like all that. Calm down, simmer down. That is me. That is my space. I am not trying to change anybody or control anybody, but I am in control of the energy that I take in.
Absolutely.
So I'm like,
You know what I said
Hold
to you
on.
that day, today? You know,
yeah,
if it's
me too.
draining, I'm busy.
Oh, yeah.
If it's negative, I'm busy.
right.
You know, because I'm focused on my purpose in life. So if you bring any of that, I'm busy.
So what? I'm busy.
I'm busy, right? Self-righteousness, I'm busy. I ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
Because you got all kind of stuff going on, and God has blessed me at this point in my life where I can see that. We recognize it and stuff
Yeah.
when we had this conversation last night. So
Yeah.
I'm busy for all of that. People be busy for people like that, right? And they soon will look at themselves in the mirror and they realize it. But when no one wants to deal with that energy, right? They'll start giving it off. Sooner or later, I believe. I do. That's just
How
what
does that look to you, a woman that you feel may be operating in this self-righteousness?
What does that woman look like?
Yeah.
Oh, she pop in the room and she everything. She got some theme music going on. You know what I'm
Not
saying?
theme music.
She got the phone in one hand, juggling with the other. And I
Wow.
dare you look at me. So how does that look? That looks like gentleman or woman that you want to avoid. Because a big part of that is no accountability. And anyone that's been in any type of relationship, you have to be very transparent and you have to have accountability in order to move on. So how does that look for me? That looks like someone that I recognize and I will not be dealing with. Q gave out some personality traits, and I'm hoping it's a way that you can share that. And this goes for men and women and stuff, and you'll find much more joy in your life and positive energy if you can recognize this. And I'm going to take it a little bit further. And don't allow your children around people like this. And you know they're in the growth, right? And they're self-righteous. Just don't let them go over their house. Just don't deal with that, right? Children they're resilient, right? But they don't have the wisdom to not deal with this emotionally. And it may scar them, right? Right, the self-righteousness. And it just goes that deep, Q.
Yeah.
It really does. And my first thing I think about the children, right?
Yeah. Seeing
Right, that
that,
part.
feeling that, looking down at their cousins that don't have much, or looking down, at other people because they hear your conversation and hear you talking.
So
Yeah.
just to further answer that question, what does that look like for a woman? I mean, you can be dressed apart and you don't have much of anything. Right?
Okay.
But now you're walking in a room with maybe some clothes you've been collecting along the way. And but you know you're everything at that particular point, right? And
Not collected along the way though.
it's just
Wow. So
But-
she walking in, she got it together.
yeah.
She got these clothes on. She been collecting along the way.
Yep, you know that one before she sit down, she gotta get the dust off the seat.
Oh, she got to be doing
yeah,
all
you know
this.
all this. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So we want to avoid that.
But she don't have anything. Is
You
what
don't
you're
have
saying? Like
anything,
behind
no.
the scenes.
Yes, it's
She
just
really
a
don't
cover
have
up.
anything.
It's just a cover up.
Dang.
It's just a cover up, and then we can go on a road to healing if we just have accountability about these things, and you will bless yourself by letting go of that spirit, right?
Yeah.
Because you will bless somebody else by being very open and humble, right? Right.
So just to get those characteristics again,
Give them, please.
a few
please.
characteristics of self-righteousness that can stop us from building real, true relationships.
I wish I'd have had them.
Number one. They do not work well with others.
Yes.
They are not patient with those who mess up, struggle with sin, or have lost their way.
Yes.
They do not respond well when reminded they need to change.
Yes.
They are resistant to change.
Yes.
They consistently point out the sin of others with an air of superiority. They do not deal well with opposition or accusations. So this is just a few that I pulled up. And I'm asking everybody, do you see yourself in these characteristics? If you do,
It's okay.
it's time to change. It's okay.
That's all right.
You change what is not working, what's not beneficial for you. Everything don't work for everybody. And I know a lot of people are moving different. They may have guards up. They may, been less than and they want to feel that way. So they are trying to manifest this, this. But really, what is it going to bring to you to be that? Is it going to make you more of a loving person, a compassionate person, a genuine person?
Absolutely.
Is it going to make you an individual? Because at the end of the day, we are individuals. We are living our own lives in our own world, and we're bringing people in, and they're just tapping in, adding to. The issue comes in when I want you to look how I want you to look to fit into my world.
That part
When
right
we
there.
begin to accept each other, and if it's things you can't deal with, that's okay. But when we look at each other with respect, dignity, like, you know what, I see you just in a different place in your journey, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
But we don't have to down each other, talk about each other, gossip about each other all the time. That brings about that self-righteousness, looking down at other people. We all been somewhere.
We've been there before, and I thank God for this topic, because I've said it in several other shows. In our community, I just want to see us do better. I wanted to do better, so I started changing the way that I move, because we're excelling in so many different areas in our life, financially, with our careers, but we're still quite not getting it with these relationships, right? But it's something that we're always trying to reach back and get, right?
Yeah, because we want it. We need it.
Yeah, so let's
We need
excel
each
in this
other.
other part. Well, we can do this, right? Keep tuning in, getting these good vibes. You know what I'm saying? And I really want us to do better. I really
Yeah, I do too.
do. The reason why? Because my children are going to have to deal with some of these people's children.
Yes.
And I like the work that
Ooh,
I'm putting in
Jesus.
now. It just may make a moment pleasant for my daughter and son down the line, because their parents got this and conveyed it to them and
Yeah.
made the change. And that's how you bless. You end up blessing other people just by helping, right? Us being
Yes,
very
yes.
open and transparent with this, right?
That's true.
So cute.
That is true. First Corinthians 11:31. This is the NIV. For if we would judge ourselves, we would not be judged. So this goes back to accountability. With our last 5 minutes, this is what we're going to talk about. Just accountability. Being able to look in the mirror, being able to criticize yourself a little bit, not be too harsh, but just really look at yourself and how you've been acting, and what you've been saying, and how are the people around you, and if you are speaking life or are you speaking death, what are you doing with your children, and things of that nature. I've really been really, really mindful of my daughters, being able to talk to them, my son, being able to teach him teach him what I know. I can't teach him how to be a man, but I can, tell him things that ladies like. And he did something on his own. I had took him out to eat, and he came over to get me out my chair.
Oh, wow. Put a chair back?
No, help me out my chair.
Wow. Oh, that's
so
major.
He came and he put his hand out, and so I grabbed his hand, but he tried to yank me up. I said, "No, son."
How old is he now? 14.
He's 14.
Yeah.
So I was like, "No, son. You just let her rest her hand on you, and then just help. She'll get herself up." But that was perfect. So just being able to have teachable moments, and and I told him, I said, the young ladies now. I don't know what happened then, but they may not be receptive to this because a lot of grown women are not receptive to allowing a man being a man, opening doors and, doing those type of things. So their daughters might not be kind of open to it. And that's kind of.
So hopefully they're watching the show. And please be open for this, please. This something as simple as what you just said, Q. It's that's major.
Yeah.
Right? Because your son will go on to want to do more things that are kind and gentle, right?
But if they what you doing? I got it.
Yeah.
Why you doing that? I got it.
And then you, for the ladies, just to humble yourself. If a man opens a car door, the best thing, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I used to be like, why are you doing that? what you
I can get it myself.
No, I'm not like that.
I heard that before. I
That's kind of
hard.
harsh.
I'm like, wow, really? Okay, well, get it yourself.
So that self-righteousness will stop us from accepting that good love and attention that we desire. We so desire that from you guys. Me and you guys are amazing.
Thank you.
We need you.
All right, Q, go ahead.
We need you.
For the fellas.
We need you.
And you women, ladies, you are amazing. I love you. We talked about feminine energy, and I told Q, I said, when I see a woman operating in that, it's intoxicating. Mm-hmm. Remember I told you?
Yeah.
I said, oh my God.
Just being soft, not being extra, just being a lady. It's important.
Not TikTok hard,
He's talking about TikTok hard.
Look, we laugh at them videos, but that's not what we want.
Oh, okay.
All right, so.
Dang.
Right
he
there.
let it out there. It's transparency,
Transparency.
Listen, I hope you guys got something from this show. I thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Please, please, please come back next week, 6 o'clock. It's always going to be some good stuff. You're going to get encouragement, motivation, information, transparency, and you're going to get these good vibes.
And guess what, Q?
What?
I want to tell the listening audience, go to Creative Emotions and look at some of the previous shows, right? This is your first time tuning in and stuff. Please,
Yeah, please.
Right, because there's some good vibes and information there.
Yep. So go on over to YouTube and look up Vaquita Taylor. That's Vaquita Taylor, Taylor. You will see all the shows, all of the relationship series, and you will see this lovely gentleman in there.
Thank you.
The co-host of the relationship series, Mr. Chef Wilson.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
Oh, and I have to add, sometimes it's a slight delay before it starts. Just don't log off. Which shows.
Yeah, just fast forward a little bit.
Just a little bit, okay.
Thank you guys. Come back next week and don't be late. I love you and there's nothing you can do about it. Peace.